giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by the Cochran Firm and Boston Scientific, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! You see it. Cowboys get the dub, 25-10. They move to 3-1. And we are live celebrating at the Cochran Firm here in Dallas, Texas, ladies and gentlemen. Got a good show lined up for you. Of course, we got to start this thing off. Opening up with the morning roundup, mostly injury reports, right? We got a lot of guys that got dinged up yesterday, but some good news from most of them. Then we'll open up the phone lines real quick. Let me pull that up for you. Let me get those phone lines up because I know y'all want to call in. I know you do. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line. Make sure y'all get up in here because when y'all get up in here, I will be locking them up so we're not here till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, Cowboys Nation? But how we feeling on this victory Monday? This is 1, 2, 3. Three of them things in a row. Dallas Cowboys get the victory with 3 of them in a row with their backup quarterback. 3 of them in a row where the Dallas – 4 really in a row where the Dallas Cowboys defense only gives up 1 touchdown. And 3 games in a row where your offense doesn't turn the ball over. Something is just happening with this team, and you love to see it. And it's not always clean. And honestly, I kind of like that as well because you know that you can fight through some adversity and whatnot. But what's good, Bomb Squad? How y'all doing? Shout out to y'all.
Bomb Squad!
Shout out to y'all in the building, man. I appreciate y'all for being here again. If you want to be a part of the show, you can. 351-999-3787 is the phone line. It is open. It is not actually. Nope, it's open. It's good. It's open. So get up in here, man. Get up in here. Yesterday, how was it, man? Who was all at the game? I saw a couple fans come through. They were rapping with me and Jesse over at Texas Live. I appreciate y'all for coming over, man. Yeah, I see you 6 to midnight. 19, 17, 16. This is what I'm saying. The defense is doing all that. We're going to get to all of it, okay? We're going to get to it. And, of course, it wouldn't be a Victory Monday without the cookout, right? So we're going to have my grown folk table, those who stood out from the game. And, again, there's never enough room. Everybody in the victory could be included, but we got about 4 or 5 guys I'm going to talk about in the cookout at the grown folk table. Y'all let me know who y'all invited to y'all grown folk table, and we'll pass out some plates. We'll see who goes on the walk and all that good stuff, and we'll have a good time with the Cowboys Nation. So let's go ahead and get this thing started with this roundup.
It's time! It's time. It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
I don't got my other drop, but let's do it, baby. I talked to Quentin Bohanna yesterday. I got a little worried when he went out with, looked like at first a groin injury, maybe a shoulder injury. Wasn't quite sure. But I reached out to Q, and I said, hey, man, when you went down, I got a little nervous. You know, you've been playing some good ball. How we feeling? He said, not missing, no action. I'm good. Now, you know, he can't make that final call, right? I know he wants to play. I know he wants to get out there. He sees his defense playing well. He sees his team winning 3 games in a row here. And he sees this Cowboys squad kind of on the way. All these guys want to play, but Britt Brown, credit to those guys, and credit to Mike McCarthy for, I think, bringing along these injured players as well as he has. I don't know what will happen. So we'll see here Wednesday, Thursday when the injury reports come out. But Q escaped that scary situation okay, to say the least. He may, even if he misses a game or misses some practice, that's better than missing most of the season. So according to Quentin Bohanna, I ain't missing no action. So we'll see what's up with the big fella here soon. Moving on to Noah Brown. Noah Brown has started off this season playing some really goddamn good on ball. But he got dinged up yesterday. And it was something you don't like to hear. You know what I mean? You don't want to hear about back, right? Michael Parsons. You don't want to hear about neck. My neck, my back, my neck and my back. Noah Brown had a neck strain. I've dealt with a dang on neck strain. I ain't no football player. And it didn't feel great. So we'll, again, monitor what this is going to be like because he's been making some big catches for the Cowboys. He's been doing some of his Noah Brown things in the blocking department. And you want to have all hands on deck this upcoming week against the, almost said St. Louis, L.A. Rams. So, you want to get Noah Brown back in the fold. But with Noah Brown out the fold, at least you still got Michael Gallup, who we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, we're going to talk about Michael Gallup in a second. And then finally, Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis went out prior to the game with a groin injury. Now, I was under the assumption, because I couldn't remember if it was groin or hamstring before the season, but it was actually hamstring. So you got the hammy that was an issue prior to the season, now a groin. And what happens? Jeron Blake, the guy who we were talking up a lot in preseason, came in there and stepped up and made multiple plays, not just one, but we'll get to Jeron Blake. Oh, you just wait and see. You just hold tight. We'll get to Jeron Blake. So shout out to Jeron Blake for stepping in for Jordan Lewis. But these are three guys you want to see play this week. But if they can't, I think you have enough guys to be able to get by, especially on defense. Offense will be interesting because it'll be the first game not having Noah Brown back. All depends who the Q is, though. That's a whole nother different discussion, right? That's a whole nother discussion. But that is the Roundup, ladies and gentlemen. And I kind of want to go back real quick, if y'all don't mind, to Michael Gallup. Now, Mike he's not at the big boy table, that's not saying he ain't a big boy. He ain't at the grown folk table, but I do want to make sure I shout him out. I do want to make sure we put a plate to the side because he might be a little bit late because he's still dealing with he's got to get there a little late. He's in rehab. He deserves a plate. Shout out to him coming back and scoring a touchdown. But more importantly for me is what he did without the ball. What I should say is what he did when he didn't catch the ball. And that's draw 2 defensive pass interference penalties. He accounted for, in my opinion, close to 90 yards in total offense because of the pass interference penalties. And 2 big catches. One on third down to get 15 yards, and the other one for a touchdown on third down. And we'll get to third downs as well. But today is about Victory Monday. We'll get to some things we got to improve later on in the show. But nonetheless, Michael Gallup returning, you saw his impact. I think you saw the impact on the entire offense, too. CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, Noah Brown, everybody else. It opened things up, and you took a lot more deep shots. By the way, isn't that something we talked about last week? Testing this secondary deep, doing some more. And Cooper Rush must have been listening to the show because he dang sure did. I joked about it on Twitter. I said Cooper Rush is just dropping back and he's throwing it down. Hey, it's a DPI down there somewhere. But that's what you got to do when they're calling it that way and they can't handle you deep. You saw it on the tape all last week. You saw not William Jackson III. It wasn't even him. It was the other cat that was getting whooped on. But the week before that and the week before that, it was that secondary that was the weak spot, in my opinion. And kudos to Coop. Kudos to Kellen because that game was a little weird too. But there were certain spots in that game and certain calls in that game. And again, in a way, and again, I don't want to get too far into it without watching the tape, Cowboys Nation. But in a way, I still feel like the game plan. I know y'all gonna play. Wait, Scott, the run game sucked. It did. The run game sucked. But 27 rushes, 27 passes. You didn't see a whole lot of those option route situations going on. When they came out of the play action with Max Protect, where were they going? Deep. We're not doing this play action and we're gonna mess around in 7, 8, 9 yards. They were going deep. So kudos to the game plan as well. Initially, could be dead ass wrong, but we'll look at the tape today. But initially, I think the game plan kind of still went like the last 2 prior. Yeah, like the last 2 prior. Execution wasn't as great. Yeah, we had some things that got called back, but nonetheless, you got out of there with another similar offensive performance. If you get me 2 touchdowns, that's how I'm looking at it with this defense, something we'll talk about more too. If you give me 2 touchdowns, you'll get field goals throughout the way. But if you get me 2 touchdowns, I feel like this defense can carry you to victory, which it's been doing. Kudos to them. Kudos to them. All right, let's jump into the phone lines. And, of course, the phone lines, the Pulse of the Nation phone lines are presented by the Cochran Firm, which we are here. By the way, just a beautiful podcast studio they have in their office building. How cool is that? I mean, set up in a podcast studio in their office building for 50 years, y'all. Since 2005, though, but for 50 years total. The Cochran Firm has been the nation's premier personal injury, truck accident, and medical malpractice law firms in the area. Our guys, Larry and Brian, since 2005, have been holding it down, fighting for you in this DFW area community. If you have anything, and I mean anything that you need legal advice for, please reach out to these great gentlemen and this great firm here and the staff that they have at the Cochran Firm. Their attorneys handle the most challenging civil cases, and all of them are handled on a contingent fee basis, meaning their fee is solely based on a percentage of the money they recover for you. So hit them up, 1-800-THE-FIRM, or visit CochranTexas.com. Get in where you can fit in, and first up, let me turn it down a little bit. Our guy, JR. What's good, JR? Uh-oh. JR, you there? Maybe this is me. Maybe this is a me thing because I think this happened before. Let's try real quick our Redding brother. Redding, you there?
Yeah, how you doing? Good morning.
All right, that was JR. What's good with you?
Okay. I wanted to say that the defense played really good. Our running, we got to show up on a running situation. And Kellen Moore, like usual, he did good, but I think he's going back to that passing habit again. I think I think he's still got to maintain that balance.
Well, what if I told you they were 50-50? 27 passes, 27 rushes.
Oh, okay, because I just happened to jump on because I don't like to miss you in the morning. I came a little bit late.
I got you.
But I was just saying, as for what I seen in the game, like I think he got passing happy, but then also too, Rush was hitting some nice passes. Like that one that he hit to Noah Brown, that was some good passing.
Beauty.
Yeah, and also in our hitman number 6, what you think? He's really hitting people, isn't he?
Oh, indeed he is. And you hold tight. We're gonna talk about D-Hit. That's what I call him, Donovan Wilson. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you got to definitely talk about the Hitman. I call him the Hitman.
Yeah, that's his nickname, the Hitman. I like to call him D-Hit.
Yeah, because he hits. But anyway, I'm glad that we won, and Cooper Rush is doing his thing. And, God bless you and the show, like always, and keep up the good work.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the call. Let's get one more in. Then we're going to hit the cookout real quick. 972, what it do?
Hey, what's up, Sky? This is Tyrone from Irvin, bro.
Tyrone from Irvin. What's good, Tyrone from Irvin?
Hey, nah, man. Hey, before the season, man, I was optimistic about this defense, man. Now, I'm for sure this defense is we're a straight Super Bowl caliber defense, man. We could do it, and I'm gonna tell you why. When you could bring pressure with just rushing 4 or 3 linemen and stay keep your integrity in the coverage and still bring pressure, that flows well for our defense. And also we have extreme depth in our line. Like, a lot of people think that this is just a Micah Parsons defense. It ain't just Micah Parsons.
Who's a lot of people? Who's a lot of people?
We have Neville. We have
No. You said a lot of people think this is a Micah Parsons defense. I want to ask you, who is a lot of people to you? Because then you need to tune out, you need to filter out who you listening to. If you think there's somebody out there saying that this is just a Micah Parsons defense, this ain't just a Micah Parsons defense.
Well, everybody's given, when they talk about the defense, all they do is talk. Not saying he don't deserve it, but everybody's just talking about Michael Parsons. But I'm just saying that
go
the
ahead.
defense.
I don't know who everybody is, but you need to surround yourself around some other people, man.
Well, when people talk about Dallas Cowboys defense, they just mention Michael Parsons. He gets like a lot of praise, and nobody's mentioning Dan Quinn and how deep our line is and how deep our secondary is. Even our linebackers are solid. Like, okay, our linebackers are solid, but we could play nickel, and we only have two linebackers. We could go big nickel. Basically, I'm trying to say is it's just not about Micah. People act like if Micah misses the game, like the defense is gonna fall off the tracks, and it ain't just Micah. When I say people,
yeah. I don't know why anybody would be speaking about Micah missing the game. I mean, he's been playing, right?
No, he's been playing, but I'm just saying that Michael's getting a lot of praise and he's worthy of it. But I'm just saying that he's not the only name that we should be really talking about. And I'm not talking about you or any Pacific Cowboys fans. I'm just saying the media in whole and the general public just. The general public.
Stop listening to the national media. That's why you got to come to where we talk about everything, man. Come on, man. Final thoughts come from this game, dog.
From the game, man, I'm loving the defense, man. Our offense is staying steady. I'm rocking with whoever's at quarterback, and I'm feeling good going into week number 5. And I think the rounds we're gonna put it on the rounds, man. I'm definitely optimistic.
Oh, we jumping ahead. Okay. Mm-hmm.
With the game, man. We held it down defensively again, and I got confidence that this defense could bring it home.
All right, man. Appreciate the call.
All right, bro.
Yeah, this thing is definitely, pushed more than just a Micah Parsons. I think we can all agree on that, but it's a Micah Parsons-led defense, that's for sure. Let's hit this cookout right quick because there are a lot of people on the phone, and I want to make sure I get to all y'all. Y'all know Victory Monday, and this is going to do that. All right, cool. Victory Monday, we like to listen to everybody, so let's hit this cookout right quick, Cowboys Nation. Grab your drink, grab your plate, grab your tinfoil if you want to take a plate home. Let me know what you're bringing. Let me know what you're thinking. I know who's coming to my grown folk table, pulling up with the spades. So when y'all see this grown folk table, it might be some dominoes, might be some spades. Hell, half of the table might go for that walk. Half of the table might go for that walk. Here we go, Cowboys Nation. Let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. Best believe this half of this table is going for the walk. But let's start off with Trayvon Diggs. We want to talk about this defense. I'm just curious. I'm on Twitter, but now it's the season. I can't really pay attention to what everybody else is saying nowadays. But I'm just curious. Anybody know the yards total given up? I feel like I'm saying this after every goddamn going week because that's all I kept hearing about. And here's the funny part about it. Oh, well, what happens when he gives up all these yards and the interceptions don't follow? Trayvon Diggs locked that man up. It was criminal what he did to him. Scary Terry. Scary Trey when they play together. Ever since he got beat with that double move as a rookie, Diggs has locked Scary Terry up. 1 reception, 5 yards, got an interception. Now, it wasn't on Scary Terry, but he got an interception in that game. That's back-to-back games. By the way, everybody said his interceptions are going to go down. Of course they're going to go down. He's not going to get 11 interceptions in back-to-back seasons. That doesn't happen, right? That just doesn't happen. Oh, he can't tackle? Well, he had 2 big tackles a couple weeks ago. Well, he can't cover. He's locking everybody up that's around him in man coverage. And he's on pace for what? 8 interceptions? Not saying he's going to get it. But 2 interceptions in 4 games. Y'all do the math. Right? Just saying. He is still Trayvon Diggs, all-pro cornerback, and I'm not watching other and I always say this with a caveat. I'm not watching other teams, so I don't want to be that guy, but I would take Trayvon Diggs. I'm not trading him for nobody. I'm good to go. Come on, now what we talking about? And as my guy just said here on the phone, Donovan Wilson. a.k.a. D-Hit, a.k.a. the Hitman. No bigger fan of Donovan Wilson than me. None. I thought Donovan Wilson was going to have, I swear I thought he'd be a borderline Pro Bowler last year before he got hurt. We just happened to be fortunate that Jeron Curse was around, and Jeron pretty much did that and some, in my opinion, had a Pro Bowl year. It flipped. Jeron got hurt week 1. Dono fills in, and he's just leading this team in tackles. Led the team yesterday in tackles with 8 solo. Had pressure on the quarterback, and he just plays with that kamikaze style. And I'll say it, and I'll keep saying it. As long as his body holds up, Donovan Wilson is a playmaking type of defensive back, period. You can box him all you want. You can say he's not this, he's not that. Donovan Wilson, yeah, he might miss some tackles. Sure. But he's going to make plays for you. He's going to set the tone for you. And you're about to get Jeron back, and all 3 of these dudes is going to be on the field at the same time? You want to talk about why this defense is going to take the next step? Depth obviously has to be a part of it. We saw some of that depth last year. Pass rush is 100% the catalyst of this team. But I think we need to start giving more credit to the secondary. 4 games. 4 straight games. Net minus 2, not minus, but net under 200 yards passing. First time since 1977. The Dallas Cowboys did 1977. For all my old heads out there, isn't that doomsday defense? And I know we're so deprived of a win that we usually repeat things from years past for the Cowboys, Doomsday 2 and, Great Wall and all this other stuff. I don't know what y'all want to call this dang on defense, but all I'm going to say is this is one of, if not the best defense in the National Football League. I said it yesterday. I'm still feeling high off the win, so I'm going to say it again. Again, that could be my Cowboys bias, but oh well. And Donovan Wilson has been a part of this early run. And we talk about depth. Jeron Blake, no snaps the first 3 weeks of the season. They go to him. Knock. Hey, bro. J. Lou went down. We need you out there. Say no more. There was a slight concern last week with some people assuming Jeron Blake had been jumped because when Diggs got hurt for a few plays, Kelvin Joseph went out there. But what they didn't fail to realize is Kelvin Joseph is primarily the boundary corner, where Jeron Blake has been playing a lot of slot duty. So the first man up when J. Lou goes down, Jeron Blake. What does Jeron Blake come in and do? Only gets 3 tackles, a pass breakup, and an interception. Again, we'll get the film, but it felt like he was here before. It felt like, hey, I'm no rook. And it felt like a guy that's a part of a machine as opposed to trying to be the key cog in it. And that's what happens when you got a defense this good ran by a guy like Dan Quinn. All the pieces don't got to be all pros, but it damn sure helps to have a D-Law in the front line, and then a Micah Parsons in the middle, and then a Diggs on the end. That's 3 Pro Bowl type of players. And then you got guys like Dono and J-Rock who play like Pro Bowl players. And then role players like Anthony Brown, Jeron Blake, who are playing. Hell, LVE, have to go back and look at the film, but one of the best plays I saw LVE make yesterday wasn't even a play he had a tackle on. It was a sack that he helped create. I used to hate seeing Sean Lee do those sugar blitzes and then faking it and come, and it just was nothing. LVE 6'5", 260, so if he really does come down the A-gap and he shoots it pretty hard, he's going to move somebody, and that's what caused that sack for Neville Gallimore. So shout out to this defense. Offensively, are we starting to see like CeeDee Lamb drives? This is now back-to-back weeks where CeeDee Lamb has had drives. Now, the first drive I don't think it netted a touchdown, but it got them in field goal range, backed up from their own end zone. Again, Great play design too, by the way. I know a lot of people getting on Kellen, and he is a little bit sus. It's all in the chat, Kellen. I get it, but the passing scheme I think is improving, and of course teams are not playing Cowboys like they were playing the Cowboys before, so that helps. But CD Lamb, I think on one drive had like 4 receptions or something like that, maybe 3 receptions for like 50 yards. Got you in field goal range. They start paying attention to CD a little bit. What happens? You double team CD Lamb in the red zone. Michael Gallup sneaks out on a scramble drill. Beautiful pass. Makes himself available. Touchdown. Second half, scores tight. 15-10. This is the 3rd week in a row. Score gets a bit tight in that 4th quarter. Who shows up? CD Lamb. Finished the night with 6 receptions, 97 yards, 1 touchdown on 8 targets. I mean, I know a lot of people was questioning the wide receiver 1 thing. I don't even know. I want to go back on that if y'all want to. We can, but I think CD Lamb showing up now. I don't really see him pouting as much as he was before. I don't really see that aspect of the mental game. Let's continue to make that happen. And if he continues to do that, I mean, we talked about 1,100 yards being the floor because of last year he had 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns, was it? 5 touchdowns, whatever it was. He already got 2 now. And I think he's going to be on pace to crack that 1,100 yards again. So shout out to CD Lamb. That's the grown folk table. Who going for the walk, though? We'll pass out plates later in the week. Maybe on Wednesday or Thursday. We'll pass out plates later in the week. But who's going for the walk? Initially, we ain't watching no film. But who's going for the walk? I got one for you who hasn't been on a walk yet. Israel Mukuamu. Izzy finished the day with 6 tackles, 4 solo, and he's low-key. He's low-key been showing up. He's low-key been showing up with J-Rock out. More and more snaps he's getting. Izzy going to come on that walk with him. Now, I know last week we said Malik Hooker don't do the walks too much. He counseling them. So he going to go on this walk this time, and he going to counsel these young bucks. Malik Hooker got to go on this walk, man. Tackle for loss, another good game with solid tackling. Was second on the team in both solo and total tackles. Malik going on that walk. CT Mad said Neville, Jason Peters. Yeah, Big Nev is like, I'm tired of being left out. I can dig it. Dante Fowler, 100%. 100% Dante Fowler with another sack and another big play. I believe forced fumble, if I'm not mistaken. Who y'all got? Is he been balling? Yes, he has, man. Yes, he has. Trey said Big Bo. Yeah, Big Bo got hurt. He had to go home. He had to leave the cookout. You know, his mom, he had to grab him and had to go home. The tight ends for blocking? Yeah. I mean, yeah, we talking about X factors, right? How about that, by the way? Our X factors all really were X factors. CeeDee Lamb absolutely torched that secondary. Is burnt toast. Who else do we have? The tight ends. Now, we didn't know they were going to do too much from a receiving standpoint, but they had the possibility to do so because the other tight ends been eating. But also blocking, right? And then the interior of the offensive line struggled a little bit early, and then from a run game standpoint, struggled on the edge. But from a pass game standpoint, go check out Baldy's breakdown. Oh, my goodness. Once again, just really good pockets. I think some of that had to do with the tight ends. Y'all wow. Y'all want Dan Quinn to go on the walk. I mean, why not? So Dan Quinn, like, he the onk, right? He the onk. I don't do that, young blood. I don't do that, young blood, but go ahead, do your thing. Sure, we can bring Dan Quinn on the walk. Greg says, Sky, we got 4 penalties. Outstanding. Mike McCarthy. Right? We got to give some credit. That has to be something. That's the 4th game or 3rd game in a row. They've had sub 10 penalties. I know that's like, whoa, 10 penalties. Yeah, because Cowboys been getting more than 10 penalties. So shout out to Mike, man. Now let's see if we can get James back in. James, you good? JR. Man, JR must be in school. He can't get on. Let's jump to somebody else. 718, what it do?
What's up, Sky?
What's up with you?
This is you probably don't know, but this is the guy that always calls for the special teams. I'm Tony, by the way. But I just want to talk about like a few things. So, can we talk about how our best run stopper got out of the game and we didn't really notice?
What do you want me to talk about?
Quentin Bohanna.
Mm-hmm.
How the game, how as soon as he left, it was like he's one of our best run defenders, and it was still nothing wrong with that with the defensive line. The run game was still shut down. It seemed like our defensive line depth is one of the best in the league.
Well, I'm a little bit confused on where you're going because most people would come out of this game noting the improvement that we need to make defensively is to actually be a bit more consistent on the ground because we gave up 142 rushing yards, 137 rushing yards to be honest, and there was multiple runs in the first half, and then there was that big run in the second half. I would say this: the run defense woke up and had some run stops for losses. However, I would have to kind of go back and kind of rewatch this here because it felt like to me the reason why they had to stop running is because that score got out of hand early in the fourth quarter. Once they went down 12, you pretty much can't run anymore, right? Like you can run if you want. But so I do want to kind of make sure that we're fair in this assessment here with and the offense. We'll get to the offense too. We haven't talked about the things that need to improve. We try to do that here, but I will say this: I got to go watch. But I do know 137 yards we can't do that on a consistent basis against better teams.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like like the defense didn't like move much. Like. They still gave up yards, but they weren't giving up. They weren't giving up things on third down. They were getting those big yards, but every third 3 and out. Like the defense was demoralizing the offense. Like they would always get off the field, and they held them to 10 points. They gave up. Granted, they gave up a lot on the ground, but that was like, we're going to give you these run yards, but you're not going to pass on us. And I think that the defense is like adjusting to the way that they play. And I think that the offensive teams that are coming and playing in the Cowboys, like if you notice, the offensive line was getting penalties all game because they were scared of what the pass rush would do. So it's like they're anticipating the run, but they're anticipating the pass rusher and scared of trying to get the jump on them. And they were like giving up 100 yards and penalties just for
watch this,
just for being scared of what Lawrence is going to do. And
pay attention to the quarterback. Pay attention to the quarterbacks when they know we got to pass or damn it, we got to pass, right? They look a little bit shook. Yeah. They're going through their reads real fast. And if you want to know what a shoddy offensive line can do to your quarterback or what a fearsome pass rush can do to your quarterback, go watch Carson Wentz. Go watch Joe Burrow. Go watch Daniel Jones. These boys are trying to get rid of that ball as fast as possible or they're taking off somewhere. And and they're telling their offensive line, pick this guy up, pick that guy up. But it's like you still can't. Like Carson Wentz, the only reason why he wasn't sacked, he was getting the ball out so fast. It was sacked. He was sacked twice.
Yeah, but that's what he wasn't sacked as many times as he played last week. He got sacked.
That's because we got 4 turnovers.
Because he was trying to get the ball out so fast because he knew if he held the ball for like a tenth of a second, the sack was going to be there. So it's like he was trying to get the ball out so fast, and it made the defensive backs that much better. And that's another thing I'm going to talk about.
In closing.
Yeah, and the defensive backs are just like Trayvon Diggs, Hooker, like Donovan Wilson. Like it's like the fact that all this is happening without the best tackler on the team, Javon Curse. It's just amazing what the back end of this season's gonna be because it's not like easy schedule, but the defense, no offense is gonna be like really scary. Like the defense is gonna handle their own.
No, it's
more
fair.
so on the offense. But
It's fair to look at the schedule and say, yeah, it gets a little bit more favorable because that's what we talked about in the offseason when it dropped. This was the toughest part of your these next two games will finish, in my opinion, your toughest part of the schedule to date at October 3rd. Things can change. All those other teams can start killing it. But up until now, once the Rams and the Eagles coming up, you get out of this. If you get out of this 2-0 or you split, that's a dub. But that's another discussion.
Yeah, that's another discussion. Yeah, if we come out 4-2, it's gonna be great. But yeah, love the show. I'm gonna try to call in tomorrow to talk a little bit more.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, he brought something up that I wanted to touch on that I didn't get a chance to, right? And it, it's Victory Monday. We try to talk about everything, but we want to open up with the good stuff. If there was something that you want to see improve from a defensive standpoint, it would be being more consistent against the ground. Really weird because week one, they killed the Cowboys. Week one, it's week one. You can't take too many things serious in week one. Hence, look at the NFL. Week two, they shut down the run. Week three, low key, they shut down the run. They had that one big run from Barkley, but he really didn't go off on them aside from that run. Then week four, they found something. The Commanders found something. I think they noticed how the Cowboys line up. The gap integrity wasn't so great. The run fits, they weren't as disciplined. It looked like, again, got to go back and watch. But they seemed to tighten it up in the second half. Then they busted one again. So the consistency has to be a bit better. And it wasn't like it was Antonio Gibson alone, just like, their starters killing you. Nah. Williams had a 23-yard run. J.D. McKissick, a 33-yard run. And I think the Williams kid had another long run, and then Gibson had an 11-yard run. So they gave up way too many explosive plays on the ground. But here is why. I'm not overly concerned. I said this last week. I think going into last week. If you're going to run on the Cowboys or any team in general, you've got to, if you're going to be a running team, you got to have a ridiculous defense. Or B, you have to score. Mostly on the ground, but score in general. 4 games, 4 touchdowns. I know eventually somebody may start to get going. It happened. Look what happened last night against the Bucs defense. A really damn good defense went up against a really damn good offense. And the levees broke a little bit there, which is why during the broadcast yesterday I was saying, at some point we can't keep playing with fire in regards to keeping bad teams around. But if you're going to run on the Cowboys, you better be able to finish in the red zone. You better be able to score on the ground. 142 yards, 10 points. Week 1, 120 whatever it was yards, 19 points, 1 touchdown. You know what I mean? So that is something they got to get better at defensively. We'll talk about the offensive side of the ball in a second, but let's get some more phone calls while we're here, man. I can barely see the number. 585, what it is, what it do?
This guy, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. It's Victory Monday. It's the 3rd Victory Monday in a row. You gotta love it.
Victory Monday is always a good Monday, man. Coffee tastes a little bit better this morning,
Always.
All right, man. I'm calling in today because I want your opinion on Dak. It's kind of like a 2-part question. The first part is if he does not come back this weekend against the Rams, I think coming back against Philly is a bad spot. You think that he should start his first game back against Philly, or do you think he should wait till after that, just skip these next 2, and then come back after Philly? But I think Philly is a bad start.
I don't think the Rams or Philly is this great spot, you know what I'm saying? But he comes back, to me, it's very simple, whenever he's healthy, whenever he's 100%. Cooper Rush and the team has given you enough leeway so that you don't have to rush him back, right? So whenever he's 100%, he's good to go. I mean, at some point we can't be scared to play these good teams. You know what I mean? So
right.
if you want to get to where you got to get to, you got to beat these teams anyway. Whenever he's 100%, you throw him out there. unfortunately, if it's if it's against the Rams or the Eagles, you're not going to be facing some bad teams or bad defenses or bad quarterbacks like you were facing previously. But that's just the game. It is what it is. I personally think you caught if he's going to get injured, low key that was the time for it to happen, because you got a good stretch here where you can get some games in front, and the Cowboys did that. So whenever he's healthy, this is for me it's that cut and dry. But I know it's not that cut and dry for the rest of the nation.
Definitely. I understand where you're coming from. I just think going into Philly, everything gonna be hyped. Sunday night, his first game back. His first game. I mean, it's like a catch-22. I know he's gonna ball out, but at the same time, I know it's a possibility for him to go in, so to speak, poop the bed.
It's no easy task to go. I mean, I haven't watched Philly intently, but they're 4-0. Defense is playing well. They got a pass rush. They lead the league in sacks, and it's a good team, But here's the thing: Dak has beat on this division for the last 5 years, for all different types of coordinators, defending Super Bowl champs and all. You know what I mean? This is one division one team that he is very familiar with and has done well with on the road, sans the whole 2019 situation. So, that's something that you got going for you, right? Like he's played against this team before, and won many of times. But again, if you want to get to where you're going to get to, you gotta be able to face adversity and fight through it, one way or the other. So, whenever he's ready and he's healthy and confident to go out there, then you go out there. Until then, no need to rush him back.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Part of me wants to actually throw Cooper into the fire so we can stop all this Cooper Bird and Dak nonsense.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to that. I try to focus on that how great of a situation this is, right?
Yeah.
Like even if you wanted to, if you wanted to spin it in a cynical way, right? The most cynical way possible would be, Dak comes back, he sucks, right? Well, guess what? You got a guy that can come in and play well for you. Now, we don't know how he's going to play against these type of teams. We haven't run up against that yet, but he has played well enough for you. So this is such a win all around, in my opinion, but it's not going to be looked at in that way.
Even with Dak at the beginning of the season, I didn't even know what to expect. I knew we were going to be changing the guards. It wasn't going to be 500 yards on offense every week or more of a defensive team.
We talked about it ad nauseum in the offseason, how early on in this football season, the offense, especially coming out the gate, I didn't expect it to be some amazing offense, but it was going to take some time to find its way, and it's still finding its way. Don't get it twisted. But they're given the luxury of having a fantastic defense, and they're not turning the ball over. I mean, that's something that I don't know if the national media, I don't listen to them, is talking about. But we're talking about one turnover all year, and it happened on the Dak Prescott interception in Week 1. Other than that, I know we've had some that have been dropped and have some that's been overturned or we recovered fumbles. But I'm sorry, there was a turnover. My bad, I misspoke. I forgot the Dalton Schultz fumble. So two turnovers, one in this stretch. But still, you're 4 games in, you have 2 turnovers? I mean, come on, man. That's a dub.
Yeah, definitely is a win. That's all I wanted to ask you today, though, Sky. Man, you have a blessed day. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
I appreciate it. Good call. Yeah, I just realized I misspoke on that one because I said this yesterday. I keep doing it. Cowboys. I said Cowboys didn't have a turnover. No, they did. The Dalton Schultz fumble. But still, 1 turnover in the last 3 games, I'm taking that all day and tomorrow. You know what I mean? I'm taking that all day and tomorrow. Now, we talked about what the defense has to get better at. Offensively, we cannot keep being 32, 33, 34% on third downs. I think that's what's keeping these teams in the game. Thankfully, the one drive where we were killing it on third down, I want to say the Cowboys were 4 for 4 on this drive. They were 1 for 5 prior to that drive, 4 for 4 on the drive. That was a drive we had the penalty on a hold that brought back the pick. But outside of that one drive, Dallas Cowboys were 1 for 11. 5 for 15 total. That has been a consistent theme all year. Not just week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. We constantly getting these third downs, and we're not converting at not even just a mediocre rate. We're bottom third. Offensively, whether it's with Dak, especially when it's with Cooper, right? You do not want to get in these situations. So they got to clean that up from a third down standpoint, which I think can happen. That comes with more time. Again, this offense was never going to be a juggernaut, number one. Number two, it was always going to take its time. We're in week 4. My concern, the caller called in. He said, my concern about bringing Dak back against the Eagles is going up against a good team. He's going to play good teams, period. More of my concern would be, do we now have to kind of start over trying to find this rhythm? Because remember, he's only played one game. Didn't play in the preseason. So we gotta imagine there's going to be some type of rush. So I think it's going to be part him being disciplined and part Kellen and Mike to make sure whenever he does return, we're not just like, all right, drop back 40 times and get rid of it. No. We still got to treat this thing like what's working. The difference is I do think that there will be spots we'll be able to hit more often than not that we haven't over the last 3 weeks, but we haven't needed to. 10 points, 16 points, 17 points, no interceptions, 1 turnover, barely getting sacked. Offensive line's playing well. Now, when they were having their troubles on the interior, it wasn't great, but that's what happens, right? Like when it doesn't matter who you are. And Cooper Rush found that out against the Redskins, against the Washington football people early in that game. When the offensive line is dealing with some tussles up there, it gets hard. It gets rough, right? So there's some things to clean up. Let's get to 662. What it is, what it do.
Day. Yes, sir. I just had a couple of comments about the game yesterday.
Indeedy, man.
From my observation, Donovan Wilson was definitely balling out.
He was.
Jeron Blake was balling.
He was.
Mika was doing his usual thing, and Tavon Diggs. I give them all props on the defense. But one thing I noticed I was watching LVE on every play, and I guess I'll switch over to your opinion, a question on like, how do you think he did?
Like I said, the play that stood out to me wasn't a tackle. Again, I admit to you guys every week when I'm watching the game, I'm watching this game purely as a fan. Now, when I go back and rewatch and watch the film, now I'm analyzing things. But I'm watching as a fan, so I'm not watching everything as intently in regards to, hey, how was Anthony Barr or LVE doing this particular play? I'm just watching as a fan. But the one play that stood out to me was when he sugared the A gap and came on the blitz, and that freed up Neville Gallimore. So I'll be lying to you if I was like, there's other plays that stood out to me. There weren't right now. But I'm going to go back and watch the film, and I'll give you a better breakdown on what LVE did. But, I mean, he was, again, I know tackles aren't everything, but he was, I think, second. Yeah, he tied for second on the team in tackles with 8. What I did notice, though, on some of those runs that were to the outside, him and Anthony Barr were struggling to get over there. And, again, if LVE has to fight through traffic, he's just not athletic enough or fast enough or physical enough, I think, to get through the mud, to get through the trash, right? Yeah. So, but that's something we always knew about LVE. So I think they found a mouse in the house. They said, okay, LVE, Anthony Barr's on the field at the same time. Well, I'm not going to run up the middle. I'm going to attack these edges, and I'm going to make that big boy run. And it was one of the reasons why I kind of wanted Micah Parsons in the middle in the second half, because I was worried about them attacking the edges again. So.
Yeah, I noticed, it's about those angles. Sometimes he struggles with those, and He's going to have to be more aggressive. He's going to have to read quicker and hit that gap.
That's very important. You said that. You're breaking up. I used to call LVE in his rookie year kind of like a mini Sean Lee because from a football IQ standpoint, it felt like he was seeing it, he was hitting it, and he was going. I feel like that isn't the same.
Yeah.
He's not the same for many reasons, injuries or whatnot. But now when injuries catch up, he's not as athletic, and he's also not seeing it, hitting it, and go. Right. It's no coincidence you don't see LVE have a lot of tackles for loss. You know, his rookie year, I think he had a little bit. I don't think he had a lot, but he was making a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage or getting a lot of stops. I don't know that that's the case anymore, but if he's kept clean and he's got a straight shot, yeah, he does much better in that instance. But, again, LVE right now and Barr, if you look at the defense and you say, hey, man, that is the weak link or that is the spot that's been most inconsistent,
yeah,
I would come away and be like, all right, well, get to him. You got to get to him first. You got to get past the Micahs and the Bows and the Nevilles and the D-Laws, and then when you do get past them, you better hope that you dump it off, because if you want to go and try Donovan Wilson or Jeron Curse or Malik Hooker or Diggs, try them.
Yeah.
All right. So how many teams are patient enough to attack LVE and Anthony Barr all game? Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, maybe. We'll see. We'll see if the Rams do it. But we'll see.
Right. Okay, man. I appreciate your time, man. Thanks for taking my call.
No, thank you for the call. Okay. You as well. Yeah, my opinion is just not changing on Leighton Vander Esch. He is what he is. He's a replacement level player. You keep him clean. He can do some things for you, but when he has to get through the trash and he has to scrape and he has to get off these blocks, and if he has to, attack the edges and use his speed, that's not his game. And kind of the reason why I want to see what Jabril Cox can do. But, he's going to get a test. Man, he's been tested, but I think the biggest test is going to come against Philly. They do a lot of pre-snap stuff. So do the Rams. We talked about, is there going to be a team that's patient enough? I think Sean McVay might be one of those teams, one of those coaches that's patient enough to say, oh, wait a minute now. I can get Cooper Kupp on a linebacker. What do you got on a linebacker? 60% of the time? Hey, what y'all think? This might have to be a Jabril Cox game. This might have to be one of those games where, hey, LVE, appreciate what you're doing. Right? We appreciate what you're doing. But we do not want to get you matched up with a Cooper Kupp. We don't. Got a couple tight ends that's pretty good. They're making this other Cooper Kupp light slot white wide receiver. I don't know his name. It's a crazy last name, but he's starting to get some production now, right? Like, it's going to be a challenge that I cannot wait to see. I absolutely can't wait to see this defense against that Sean McVay offense, because they do the one thing that the Cowboys struggled with the most last year, and that was defend the run against pre-snap motion. Yesterday, they had some trouble with it. I'm with you. Big nickel, CT, man. Big nickel. That's why I'm saying, even when they go big nickel, there has to be a linebacker out there, right? I'd much rather that be Jabril Cox, but it's probably going to be LVE or Anthony Barr from what we're seeing. But I'd rather. How about Big Dime? Y'all cool with that? Let's get 4 safeties out there and just let Jeron be that linebacker. Let's go Big Dime. Y'all crazy in this chat. Let's go ahead and pay some more real quick, man. Shout out to CT Matt here for that. We're gonna call that the fan focus comment of the morning, man. Hey, ED can affect your self-esteem and impact your most important relationships. If you tried everything possible but have yet to find a satisfying solution, there is hope. Take a free online assessment that you can share with your doctor. Click the ad in the description. There is a permanent, satisfying solution to treat it. Again, click the ad or visit ed.org, which is brought to you by Boston Scientific. And no, it's not my people's. I feel like every time we bring this up, y'all bring up Damone Clark. Your guy Knicks. Shout out. Is that your guy Knicks? Is that the Knicks? No offense to the other Knickses, but is that the Knicks? Shout out to my bro. Damone Clark was back out there doing some things. Don't want to rush him back either. But next year is the year where my attitude on this, okay, it is the Knicks. Shout out to Pick 6 Sports. Next year is the year where I'm going to come into this season, bro, way more excited about this linebacking room. And I say this all the time, but I'm serious. All right, let's get Reek, I believe, on hold. What's goody, Reek? Let me pull you in real quick. What up, man?
Yeah, what's going on, Sky? What's good, Cowboy Nation? That was a good win yesterday. Good team win.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have to clean some stuff up. Kellen Moore, he gotta stop getting cute in his red zone, leaving points on the board, man. 3 points is not gonna beat these elite teams when they come down to it. You know what I mean? You got to get points on the board early, because you've seen that in that Giant. Was it the Giant game? No, it wasn't the Giant game. It was in the Cincinnati game. We got on the board early. We was able to sustain that. You got a good defense. You know what I'm saying? You keeping people under 20 points. When the last time the Cowboys kept somebody under 20 points? It's been a long time for that.
Last week?
No, I'm talking about throughout the years.
Oh, yeah,
with the struggling defense.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we have an opportunity.
Yeah.
We got an opportunity to do something real magical and real big this year. Right. And I think Kelly has to quit getting so damn cute when we get closer to the end zone and settle on for field goals. He has come up with better running schemes and better passing schemes. He got nice in the second half yesterday to Michael Gallup. I liked that. You know what I mean? But I need to see more pitches out to people like my man Pollard. I didn't see any pitches in that game. You know what I'm saying? To get him in open space to do his thing instead of just running into the teeth of the Redskins defense. We know
they did. They did try to get something going on the outside with Tony. It just wasn't. They weren't blocking it up. We got to give some credit to Ron Rivera. Got to give some credit to that front. They just weren't letting Dallas have it on the ground. So I have to watch the tape, but it felt like from a passing game again, if this was, I ain't even gonna bring that up, but let's just say this. I thought there were some good things that they did in the passing game, and they only needed to do it 2 times, meaning they only needed to score twice. I'm not saying you keep that up, but I do think coming into this game, it was really hard, and I said this in last week, Reek, if you remember. I said it's gonna be really hard not to get pass happy in this game because that secondary is barbecue chicken. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But we come to find out that's actually where your bread was buttered. So they tried to go outside with Tony Pollard. Did not work. The line was not blocking it up. For whatever reason, this is what pisses me off about Kellen. What works one week, he doesn't bring back the next week. And I'm talking about the creativity from the run game. There was no creativity in the run game whatsoever. It was we're going to run up the A gap, we're going to run up the B gap, and we're going to hope for the best. And I felt like he was doing that just to stay balanced. So there's this weird relationship with Kellen, with me, coming out of this game from the first only one watch. It's that, yes, I thought your run design or your run calls were not good, Reek. But on the other hand, if I want to play devil's advocate to myself, at least he did stick with it, and we had a lot of big plays, or at least a handful of big plays out of the play action. So it's a weird relationship we got with Kellen. But right now, first watch, yes, there was negatives in that game, but there were also positives that I think helped put that game away.
Okay. My last point, and I'm going to land my plane here. Like the one caller was talking about LVE, yeah, they need to start looking into putting Jabril Cox and maybe even Harper on this damn field. People that can try to knife through this through the offense and try to make a play. Because Sean McVay, you said it, you know it, just like I know it. They love to do them stretch runs to where you got to read the keys of the offense to see see where they're going with the ball, because he likes to do that stretch out run stuff, and by the way LVE is trying to come up in here, they're gonna wash him out of the play. They're gonna wash him. You know what I mean? So it's like, I understand that LVE is one of the good old boys for Jerry and them, but come on, man, he's the weaker link on that defense, man, because even we seen him getting washed out of plays all day yesterday. Shit, the last couple games he been getting washed out when they running directly at him or they stretching it to the outside. Only time he good, he want to go chase somebody down. But I'm gonna land my plane on this one. You see what happened? You see the difference between when Bland got in the game and when Lewis was in the game?
That's my guy.
Bland was going for the ball. Bland was going for that ball. He might have had a couple miscues, but he got it together. And he jumped routes. And he was out there being physical. That's what you need. Which caller better watch his back? Because he might not get his job back. Lewis better watch his back. He might not get his job back, bro, if this young man keep playing as well. That's all I got to say. But good win, Cowboy Nation. Let's keep it going. And let's see what happens in this next game. Peace.
My man, appreciate you, Reek. One thing I can always count on Reek is he going to keep the Cowboys honest, man. He going to keep the Cowboys honest. Yeah, listen, again, I'm always say it. I go back and watch it, man. I promise you I will, and I'll report on better on what I saw. But it looked like, man, they hit enough. It looked like they hit enough. They did enough offensively. And I know that the main discussion was going to go around the national airwaves. But I think a deeper discussion here. Are we getting to a point? And I said this, one game and maybe 2 games just because of the way the defense is playing. But are we at a point now where all it really takes is 2 touchdowns? Is that it? I mean, I can't fathom that being a way to win all the way in the playoffs and whatnot. But is that all it's going to take? That's all we've been doing. We're scoring 2 touchdowns. And they haven't been early. That, again, if you want to talk about offensively, where else can we get better at? It is early, right? Cincinnati, ever since that game, the last 2, the Cowboys just haven't got off to good starts. If I remember correctly, a lot of y'all were upset about the Cowboys not getting off to good starts last year, but hey, the last 2 games against what I think are inferior opponents got into the fourth quarter, and it's either a tie game or it's a 5-point game, 1-score game, and keeping these guys around. I recall you guys getting upset that was happening last year. But I think the difference is this year, while the defense was good last year, the defense found its way. They were creating a lot of turnovers, right? Then they found their way towards the end. 10 points, 16 points, 17 points, 1 touchdown in all games. It might be. You might only need 2. And again, we got 2 good offenses coming up. So we'll really see, right? We'll really see. Is that all it's going to take? I mean, it's not like we're out here cooking offensively. It's not like we're cooking. We're the 8th worst third down offense. We're 23rd in completion percentage. We're 22nd in first downs. We're 15th in points per game in the last 3 weeks, I mean. We're 20th in yards per play. I'm starting to believe, and this is very early, it's week 4. I don't really think you're going to need much offensively. That's just something I was thinking about as I was thinking about this offense. That's something I was thinking about. All right, man, let's get the 2-1-4, which this is a very special call, if I'm not mistaken. I believe we have the Brian Pope on the horn from the Cochran firm, correct?
That's right, Will.
What's good, B?
Welcome to the Design District in Dallas, and welcome to the Cochran firm today on Victory Monday.
Victory Monday. Well, no, not welcome. Thank you for allowing me to be here at the Cochran firm and rapping to you guys and doing this show here down in, what you call it, the district? What you call it?
Well, the design district. It's up and coming.
District.
We thought we'd plant our flag here with the Cochran firm and open our doors up. Will, we've been trying to help people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and all over the state of Texas, for that matter, for the last 15 years or so. My partner Larry Taylor and I. What we try to do is, just real quickly, we try to help put people's lives back together. We represent people who've been in serious accidents, whether it's truck wreck or car wreck or motorcycle accident or workplace injury. We even try to help people in the community with civil rights issues, some police brutality issues, and if you get into trouble, get a DWI or something like that, we're here to help you as well. So we're thrilled to be a sponsor with A to Z Sports this year, and look forward to a partnership where we can help each other out and help out the community. So love having you guys here today, and I'm fired up. 3 victories in a row, and I'm ready to talk a little Cowboy.
1, 2, 3. What's your overall takeaway, Brian, from yesterday, man? Again, it's Victory Monday, so we kind of like to be on the positive side. But what's your overall takeaway from yesterday?
So I'm loving the Cooper Rush quarterback controversy that's being stirred by the anti-Cowboy faction out there. I got friends all over the country, and I do a sports podcast called Sunday Morning Quarterbacks, SMQBs, on Apple and Spotify for those who want to possibly follow. But I got guys in Washington, Philly, and New York who are pushing back and saying that they love the Cooper Rush bandwagon, and they're hoping that Dak has played his last down in Dallas.
Oh, wow.
They are stirring the pot, Will. They're stirring the pot, trying to create something that doesn't exist. We aren't going to the Super Bowl unless Dak comes back and is the Dak Prescott that we expect. But Cooper is definitely helping us get to that point by, like you and I were talking about earlier, he's a great bus driver, but he's not going to take us to the next level.
Yeah, I think he's a fantastic backup quarterback, and I think you're seeing what a peak backup quarterback can do, right? But like I said yesterday, I think we know what peak Dak Prescott looks like. And I think for any team to win a Super Bowl, you got to get the peak of their quarterback. And he was playing at MVP level when he was his peak. So, but he wasn't week 1. So I get how people are like, whoa, wait about the San Francisco, which by the way, you scored 2 touchdowns in that game. You win based off how this defense is playing. But what about week 1? Yeah, that's all they got to go off of right now is week 1. So I get it. I get why this is a story. But if we remember last year when it happened, no one thought it was a story because the way he played the week before. So this is very much what have you done for me lately, and it's a great content. It's doing exactly what Jerry wanted to do. Everybody's going to be talking about it. But again, people in that locker room, they are just loving this situation, and I'm just hoping that the Cowboys fans do the same thing. But that's not really what's happening in Cowboys Nation.
Yeah, and if you look at week 1. Again, no preseason actual game activity for any of the starters. Obviously, they're rusty. No Michael Gallup. Dak didn't have all his weapons. Clearly, he was rusty, and you can't just take away that he's going to be an ineffective quarterback for the entire season just because of that.
But people believe that.
Cooper.
People believe that for whatever reason. They assume that that's the Dak Prescott of the rest of his life, which is mind-boggling to me. If you think that he couldn't beat the Washington football people, the Giants, or the Bengals, I don't know what the heck you're watching here. Are people writing off Aaron Rodgers after week 1? This is 2 years in a row. Aaron Rodgers is like crap.
2 years in a row. Yeah. Yeah. So, and look. I think once Dak has a full complementary his weapons with Gallup, and he comes back and Cooper hands him the keys back, I'm optimistic, man. I'm much more bullish about the Cowboys than I ever thought I would be this year. And it's a lot of it's also, you've been talking about this defense. With Micah and with Diggs, and now Lawrence is cut loose. it's got to be one of the premier defenses in the league. And I'm not sure we could have said that a year ago.
They were number one in turnovers last year. Micah Parsons was MVP or Defensive Player of the Year candidate. But what it is this year is a defense that looks like it can carry you week in and week out. That was questionable early on last year. Your offense was really carrying you while the defense was picking up. Then once your defense picked up, your offense started to have to be carried by the defense, and now that's continuing this year. So I honestly don't mind it this way because once you get back to full strength and you start finding, who you are offensively, which we should know by now, but finding who you are offensively, you don't need to have the number one scoring offense or number one offense in general with this defense.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to give up a touchdown a game, even in the Bucs game, which was, the disaster, but we only gave up one touchdown.
Right.
If you're going to give up, like you said, is it going to take 2 touchdowns, maybe a couple field goals if the defense is playing to the level that they've been playing to? Maybe, but, for the Cowboys to go where they want to go, I'm a Dak guy, and apologies to the anti-Cowboy faction out there, but our success rests with how he comes back.
We'll see. But I appreciate the call, Brian. Let people know where they can find. Well, I got it here on the on the screen, but let them know where they can find you.
So we're at thanks, Will. We're at 1825 Market Center Boulevard in Dallas, just down from the Virgin Hotel in the Uptown Design District. And love having you guys here. Look forward to working with you all the rest of the year and coming back out later. Hopefully we'll have a lot to crow about. But thank you guys for the partnership, and welcome to the Cochran firm.
Appreciate you, B. I'll see you in a bit.
Sounds good.
All right, man. That is Brian of the Cochran firm. Brian Pope. Also, Larry's here as well. Who he ain't going to tell you, but he a Washington football people fan. So, I can't even poke fun at him now because he don't even like them no more because of they management. So, that's out the question. But, yeah, man, look, I don't know if this is all it takes is 2 touchdowns and not to turn the ball over, by the way, because that's very important too. That's very important. Well, do y'all seriously think that QB1 can't do that? I mean, you're talking about a quarterback who historically has one of the better turnover ratios in the history of the game, right? So, and I love the fact that it looks like at least Kellen has removed these damn options, or should I say Big Mike has removed all of these option routes and just said, hey, man, you're going to run this, you're going to run that. Again, I know a lot of people getting on Kellen after this game, but there was a few plays in there, the big ones at the very least, that I thought were designed very well from a passing standpoint. Kind of keeping on task of what I've seen from the Cincinnati game. I thought there was an adjustment there where there were a lot of people open in that zone in the second half. We just didn't hit it. I thought I called it a masterful game against the Giants, right? It was a very masterful game against the Giants from a passing and running standpoint. This game, not so much running, but if you go look at the pass plays, all the big ones, I thought those were good designs against a very poor secondary. And I promise you, this could have got out of hand even more. I'm just saying. Now, James, I'm going to give you one more time, brother. You've been JR. Oh, here we go.
What's good, baby?
Hey, JR, I ain't know if they pulled you in the principal's office, man. I ain't know if they, took your phone. You was in detention.
Man, hold on. I'm running late. I'm trying to get it in before I go in. I'm just waiting in the car. You know what I'm saying? They'll see me when I'm in there. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, I just want to say this. Why we got so much negativity on the Cowboys win Monday? What are we doing? We getting on Kellen Moore. We talking about LVE. They won. Come on, celebrate, baby. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I can't say what I want. I'm on school ground, but all I'm gonna say is,
Don't say them. Hey, you better leave them shoes up out of here. Leave them shoes alone. Leave them alone.
I won't call them that. I just say a couple of blue Skittles. I heard the new ad. Hey, what can the blue do for you? That's all I'm saying. How about them Cowboys? You know what I'm saying? Hey, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this though.
Shit,
Are we seeing a 0-1 Ravens type defensive effort out of our defense?
So I wore this NWO shirt for a reason, JR, because I think it's a new day. It's a new world order here in Dallas. We are officially, and we knew this, officially, a defensive team. A team that I think we can really ride the backs of this defense into postseason success. Now, how far in the postseason is a different story. But I feel much more confident about this defense winning you a game or two if you need to. Baltimore Ravens 0-1, need a little more. That might be unfair, JR, but can I see after these 2 weeks, right? You're going up against the Super Bowl champions, Sean McVay, a fantastic coordinator. You got the Super Bowl, well, he wasn't MVP, but the Super Bowl quarterback. You got the Triple Crown winner. The next week you got potentially an undefeated team that's in the Eagles with a really good scheme and really good offensive playmakers. If they go out there and hold them boys to 10, 13, 16 points, JR, we might be looking at something like that.
Man, look who their quarterback was. They didn't have a marquee quarterback. They didn't have a marquee wide receiver. Literally, that 0-1 team rolled that defense to a Super Bowl championship. Why can't we?
I'm not saying we can't. I'm not saying we can't. Just the comparison of it, man. That was a hell of a defense. So are the Cowboys, but can I see more? Can I see more? The two games that really had me feeling like, hey, this is a possibility, is playing against Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. These last two games, I'm gonna be honest with you. Carson Wentz, Daniel Jones, the Washington offense, the Giants offense. You did what you were supposed to do. But these next two, right? If you could, put the buns in the Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, Rams, Eagles. It's gonna be real hard for me not to drink that type of Kool-Aid.
Well, hey, this is what we're gonna have to do. This is where it's gonna meet. If Bo can't go, if Big Bo Hanna, if he can't go, can we have those other guys step up? Because Rams and Eagles Eagles lead the team or lead the league in rushing touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? With 10, they are running at us. They are going to line up and say you're going to have to stop our run in order for you to beat us. Can we meet that challenge with Micah Parsons? I just as a fan watching D-Law come in on the run. You know what I'm saying? And I understand everybody was getting on LVE and all that, you know what I'm saying? They game plan their run to attack our linebackers, you know what I'm saying? Because they wasn't running all the way up.
The conference has been locked.
They was running right there. That 7, that 6, that 5, making them chase and having to scrape over just enough, you know what I'm saying? But if we can meet that challenge, I call us the team to beat to go to the Super Bowl NFC. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I love it, JR. Well, I feel like we do have to find some more consistency offensively. But here's the thing. I don't think we need to beat the 2001 Ravens. One thing I'm noticing in defenses over the last 5 years, and maybe some analytics will back this up. I think we might be seeing the end of those type of defenses because the rules are different. Right, the rules are different. The last defense that I think was suffocating like that. I could be dead ass wrong here, but was it the Broncos? Remember the D-Ware Broncos? I mean, I don't really recall another defense being, that suffocating. Now the Patriots did win a Super Bowl on the backs of their defense. They only gave up 13 points or 6 points. I think it was like 6 points in the Super Bowl. They won 13-6. So I mean, I guess you could go there. They were a top defense too, but just the rules, man. Offense is really hard to do that what those teams did. So I don't think we need to do that. I just think you need to be a top defense. If you could be a top 3 to 5 defense, man, and your offense is good enough and definitely in spots, you are going to have a shot in this tournament, period.
And if you can name 3 to 5 defenses better than Dallas right now, I put money on it telling you.
You can call me a homer, you call me what you want. I'm not taking no other defense. I think they're the best defense in the league.
And my question is, why not? And if I could go down the line position, I won't do that because, calls and all that, but you go down the line position for position, where is it that you could say, okay, this will be the place that can stop us from going all the way?
I could find another defense that has maybe a better unit at certain spots. Sure. I could maybe find out. The Eagles, I like their defensive line might be better than the Cowboys' defensive line because they got those interior guys are great. That doesn't mean I think the defense is better, right? Like, we got to take into account Dan Quinn. We got to take into account Micah. We got to take into account our secondary, our depth, and everything. So, I just think collectively, I'm cool. I don't want to be anybody else's defense, bro.
Those are good points. So if y'all agree, Cowboys Nation on Sky Nation, what you need to do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, share this content, because you're not going to get it anywhere else, baby. We in the Design District today. We moving on up to the east side, baby, with Cowboys content. Sky is the limit. How about them Cowboys? Woo!
Oh, man, I just love the energy, dog. I loved it. And wrong one. We needed to get that energy back. But I would never, ever, 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 ever be mad at people for keeping the Cowboys honest. That's why we're here. That's why we do these shows, because we know what the low-hanging fruit's going to be on the networks. We know what that's going to be. Don't let them distract you from the fact that before the season, we was trash. We weren't going to win double digits. Then when Dak went down, we was even more super trash. Sitting at 3-1. Don't let them distract. They're going to try their hardest to turn this thing into this and that and that and this. Even some fans are doing it with the Jeron and Donovan Wilson thing, which is silly. Don't let it distract you, man. Don't. Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl having to fight through adversity, dealing with a ton of injuries. He speaks on it a lot because he understands it's going to take 70-something people to get this done. Period. And the minute you allow yourself to get out of that and fall into this trap, you're just missing the enjoyment of this. All for what? Because you want to play in fire? You want to be miserable? You love the drama? Go watch those shows then, because that's what they're going to give you. They're going to play to you. That's what the talk media has done now. Those talking head shows. It's super hot takey. It's very right now. What happened? And that's it. We don't care about context. We don't care about logic. We don't care about we don't care about any of that. We want to stir it up. Don't let them distract you. Your team is 3-1. The team that they said was this almighty team, and they're 4-0. It is what it is. They're 4-0. This almighty team, you're one game behind these boys. And you're going to get better. Don't let them distract you, fam. Don't let them do it to you. Danny. What's up, Danny?
Good call. Just wanted to get that out of the way already.
Already? Must be a good call.
Listen, I'm not a defensive expert. I'm more of an O-line guy. I'm not a big Cox fan, but I think he should be on the field this Sunday because the Rams don't like to run up the middle a lot. They run a lot of misdirections, you know what I'm trying to say? And that's where his speed is going to show. You know what I'm trying to say?
Hey, Danny, I'm with you, bro.
They got Cup. No problem. We got Diggs. Wherever Cup goes, Diggs goes. That equalizes him out.
Just
Yo,
noticed.
think about Mike has done nothing in 2 weeks because he's been sick. But just him on the field and the offense having to account for him is opening up everything else for all the other defensive players. And I'm sorry, I don't think it's just me, but this defense changed when Wilson stepped on the field. When Donovan Wilson stepped on this field and started laying the pipe, this defense attitude has changed. Schultz who? Why can't we take Schultz, give Donovan Wilson 2 years, $10 million, 2 years, $12 million next year? We got Ferguson and Hendershot.
Mm-hmm.
Schultz, Wilson is an integral part of this defense. You know, the only thing is, I mean, our left guards got beat up more than lot lizards yesterday. So I don't know what we're going to do with Aaron Donald, because you know they're going to put Aaron Donald whichever they think our weakest spot is. And listen, and Stevie Wonder can tell you our weakest position right now is left guard. So I don't know if they put Peters at left guard and say, yo, do your best against Aaron Donald. Maybe they've been saving this game for him. You know what I'm trying to say? But Rams really don't scare me that much. They don't have a great running game. They just have an outside running game, and we have good speed. Just real quick, what is our defense ranked?
In what?
In the NFL right now.
Well, it all depends. You talking about like yardage?
Yeah, just like the rank. Are we ranked 1, 2, 3, 4? Like, I'm just asking a question. I don't know the answer.
Well, I don't know the answer to yard because see, to me, I don't care about yardage per se, right? Like, you can be 17th in yards and still be one of the best defenses because you're just blowing people out and they got to throw the ball over the field. But I will tell you this: you know, I don't think they're ranked that damn far down because think about this for a second. You gave up 142 yards last week or yesterday on the ground. But in total, they were sub 300, right? Sub 300 is phenomenal in the NFL. So and then against the Pats, because Tom Brady they ran for a lot of yards, but they didn't run for a lot. The Cincinnati, they didn't do either great. So I would imagine they're top 10 in yards at some point somewhere. Number 1 in sacks. I believe they're top 10-ish in third down percentage. I mean, they're doing fine in the categories that matter, in my opinion. And then obviously 15 points per game. That's probably top 3 in the league.
No, absolutely. And just like a quick question: if Bohanna is hurt for an extended period of time, Sue is sitting at home. Why not throw him a couple of dollars?
Boy, listen,
I know we got Watkins. I know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm with it. I'm with you.
I mean, if Bohanna's going to be out for, some time, bring in Sue. Yo, that would be scary. When Micah finally gets healthy, this defense is scary. This defense kind of reminds me of the 92-93, just because 92-93, Jimmy had waves. He had a wave of 10 D linemen that were coming in fresh all the time. And I can name all 10. It was just one after another coming in. And that's how they were beating teams. Let's not call them the 85 Bears yet, but I'm not afraid of the Rams, and I'm not afraid of Philly. So
you got this defense. You shouldn't be afraid of nobody with this defense, dude.
Nobody. Absolutely. We're taking people's heads off. We're taking people's heads off. And Mike, let's be honest. I'm the biggest Micah fan there is. Micah's done nothing for the last 2 weeks. He's sick.
You got to stop. Stop.
No. I'm just trying. He's sick. There's something wrong with him.
Danny.
He's out of breath.
Danny.
He's out of breath. Go ahead.
Danny.
Talk to me.
You got to relax on your hyperboles. All right. Mike ain't done nothing.
I don't mean it in a bad. No. When I say bad way, I mean like I'm high expectation. I'm hot. I'm expecting 8 sacks already.
Sure.
That's what I mean.
Right,
That's
but you
what I
got to
mean.
understand how it's coming off. Micah ain't done shit the last two. Oh, relax,
Yeah, no,
relax.
I
Micah is
apologize.
created for a lot of.
I apologize.
Right. What did Micah say? What did Micah say at the beginning of the year? He said, I want to be the best defensive player in the league, and to do that, I have to make people around me better. And I think he's done that the last 2 years.
100%. 100%. Like I said, when I came off the bad way, I apologize. I just meant like he don't have 8 sacks on the board.
Right.
Everyone is
You want him to fill the stat sheet up.
You know what I'm trying to say?
It'll come. It'll come back.
Once he gets healthy, once he gets his lungs back, and what did Bohannon do? Was it collarbone or no?
I think it was a shoulder.
All right.
I think it was a shoulder. But he told me he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. But, hey, Danny, good call. Appreciate you.
Good call. Glad you're rocking the NWO shirt. All righty, Sky. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Sorry if I took too long.
No. You're cool. What I like that you kind of corrected yourself there with the Micah situation. You know, I didn't think you meant harm. But when I hear he been doing nothing, I'm like, oh, wait a minute now, Danny. But you corrected yourself, so I appreciate that, man. All right, man. Final call of the, and I got this echoing. Final call of the night, of the morning. And we're going to get up out of there, get into the chat. What's good? 862, I think it is.
What's good? What's good, Scott? This is Shaq, the Vikings fan.
Oh, my man. I appreciate you, Shaq. How about that? The last call of the day is from Shaq, the Viking fan, who, by the way, congratulations, y'all 3-1 too.
Barely. I don't know, man. I'm not liking these wins. I know a win's a win, but
very Viking-like wins, huh?
You're looking like real pretenders out here.
What's up with you, though,
but
man?
I wanted to keep it short and sweet, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just had some key thoughts about Dallas. I just wanted to say y'all doing a great job, but also y'all have to really go deep in the playoffs. I feel like Kellen Moore is going to have to learn how to really balance the offense once Dak comes back. I feel like the reason y'all been winning lately is because y'all been leaning more on y'all run game and not focus on just passing every down, because now everybody just keying in on the pass game.
Yeah, and they're keying in on the run game now, right? And that helps open things up. So, I mean, I'm with you. I think we need to remain balanced whenever Dak gets back, and they cannot lose their ways. Now, I'm not saying they got to throw the ball 22 times, 23 times. Like, there's going to be games you're going to have to score. Fortunately, Shaq and Cowboys Nation, fancy new office. Fortunately, Cowboys Nation, the Cowboys haven't had to get in one of those kind of shootouts, right? Like, the Cowboys haven't had to do that because the defense has been good. Honestly, the Cowboys haven't really had to score a bunch of touchdowns in general. You know what I mean? So, you know, but at some point that could happen. We saw what happened to Tampa. Tampa Bay came in here with the best scoring defense in the league, and they just got whooped on. Now, that's the Chiefs, right? But regardless, I think you're going to need to remain balanced and dedicated and committed to making teams believe, because this is important, Shaq, making them believe I will run this ball. If you don't believe me, watch me get 8 yards or watch me pop one for 46, because week one, I don't think it gets enough. You know, people talk about it enough. Devin White said, y'all ain't going to do it. He literally came out and said, oh, they're not going to remain committed. So why would we bite on these play actions? And we didn't remain committed, and they weren't biting. So, yeah, you got to make people believe that you're going to stick with the run.
Yeah, and that's facts. And it's kind of like a blessing in disguise that, like, I know injuries is bad, but
I believe so, too.
It kind of gives Kellen Moore that added boost that if he doesn't get his shit together, he might get fired. So he has to deal with a backup quarterback. He don't have Amari Cooper no more.
Yeah. I believe that as well, man. That, and I meant to say this earlier. This is low key a blessing in disguise, because Kellen low key had to do some different things offensively. But I think in doing that, he's found, which he should have already found it, the identity for this team, and it's only going to help you when your QB1 gets back.
And that's that. And my last point I like to say is, Cowboys fans, y'all got to stop with the Dak versus Cooper Rush thing. It's not close. I wish you and Vosh would just do a breakdown on why Dak is better than Cooper Rush. Y'all shouldn't have to, but it seems like a lot of fans started to hype.
I ain't stooping that low. And there's only, and to be fair, there's only maybe a few people that even those people will come out and say, well, I don't believe he's better. Well, damn it, if you don't believe he's better, then shut up. Then what are you talking about? But there are only a few people that believe that believe he's better that at least I've seen and interacted with on here. I just think people are just over Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are just I'm just over him. I'm ready to move on, ready to go. Anybody but type of syndrome right now. So, you know. It's Cowboys, man. I don't know how y'all do it with the Minnesota Vikings, but Cowboys fans live in the drama, man, because we've been conditioned to do so over the last 2 decades.
Well, that's all my points. Continue having a great show. I'm proud of you and Vox doing your thing.
Thank you, brother.
Make sure y'all like, subscribe.
Appreciate you, Shaq, man, and good luck to your Vikings, except when you play the Cowboys.
All right, take care.
Yeah, we got them boys coming up. I think before the bye, if I'm not mistaken. We get them before the bye, and then either them or we get the Packers before the bye. Can't quite remember. But that'll do it for the last call. The Pulse of the Nation presented by the Cochran Firm, which I'm chilling in. I saw Twan in the chat say, hey, man, got the new office, a new fancy office. Yeah, you know, we do. We're going to be doing a couple of these on-site broadcasts. We did one at Supreme Lending after the victory a few weeks ago. And today we're doing one at the Cochran Firm here in Dallas. And we'll be doing some more at Supreme here over the week. We're going to be mobile a lot on Mondays. So y'all stay tuned for that, man. Y'all stay tuned for that. Let's hop back into the chat. Stop the Dak versus Rush. Stop the Dak versus Rush. Need to stop, but we continue talking about it. What my man say? We? We? Yeah. But I feel you. I feel you, Twan. It's the low-hanging fruit. It's going to happen. I'm doing my best to attack this in a fair, reasonable, logical way. But I understand there's a side that is firing at the hip with this. But hey, man, listen, that's how they feel. I'm not doing this fight no more. I'm going to enjoy this thing. This happened last year. People weren't enjoying. Let's just be completely honest. I watched Dallas win this way last year, and we complained. I watched it. We complained. So I've realized. Hey, L, where you at, L? What do we need? What do we need? Because until we get that, the grass is always going to be greener. And I really, and this is where I feel bad for Coop. If he goes out at some point in his career in Dallas and does not have a good game, oh, geez. Oh, it's over. It's over. Like, they're going to throw tomatoes at this man and tear him apart. And if they don't, and I'm going to leave it at that. Wood said, man, I'm glad Michael Gallup is back to allow CD to get more one-on-one matchups. 100%. Michael Gallup is going to help elevate this offense, period. Peter, we can't avoid that pun. I've noticed that when I keep saying it. I'm trying to find a different word. But he says Dak Prescott shouldn't rush his injury. No pun intended. I'm with you. I never intend that pun, but he shouldn't. Yes, he says, Sky, did you already say how many snaps Peters had? I didn't say, but it was 20 if I'm not mistaken. And 39 from Michael Gallup, which that way exceeds what I thought. So it's good to see Michael Gallup can go back out there and be successful. And he said I had the jitters about my knee. He said I had the jitters, and I thought you saw on the first route, but then he got it together. Oh, man. I agree with Scott. He says, I truly appreciate Rush for how he's maintaining, but let's be smarter about what we're debating here. Yeah. And Twan, see this is the logic we're discussing, right? That's very true. Twan says Rush is a backup quarterback. We don't expect anything from him. That's why any and everything he does is being praised. Well, the last part of it, to be fair, for a backup quarterback, I think he is playing at the peak level of what your backup quarterback should do. You know, he's not turned the ball over. I know he threw 2 of them. But technically he hasn't turned the ball over. And he's scoring 2 touchdowns. Like, if you go into a season, right, and you say, hey, man, my backup quarterback's going to come into the game. He's really not going to carry an offense. You know, he's not going to do all these crazy things, but he's going to score me 2 touchdowns a game. Or he's going to throw 1 touchdown a game, but the offense is going to score 2 touchdowns, and he's not going to turn the ball over. Everybody would sign up for that. Everybody. So we're going to be responsible here. We understand that's not going to be the case everywhere else. So a couple more, then we're going to get up out of here, man. L said, oh, by the way, I did say, what do we need? And I don't know if anybody dropped it. But we need a win. And y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about no win on Sundays. I'm talking about a big win. What did you say, L? If you like seeing Sky in these fancy locations and getting the notoriety he deserves, imagine what kind of content he'll get when Sky and Vach get that studio going. Let me tell you, man, we're working on it. That's my goal, man. That's my goal, is to get our own studio here in Dallas somewhere. And you want to talk about what Pat, man, because Pat McAfee for real is gold, dog. Like that's gold. We'll turn it up. That's all I'm gonna say. We'll turn it up. All right, tomorrow we will do our upon further review. I need Tape Tuesdays, whatever the heck you want to call it. We're going to take some of the good plays, some of the things we need to improve upon, look at some schematic things, and we're going to look at it together. We're going to watch it all together like we do on Tuesdays. If you guys enjoy the Tape Tuesdays, let me know. I'll keep them going. I'm excited for it because it's another victory. So there's going to be a lot of good things on film. And I said this yesterday, the things that you want to clean up are so much easier to get through and wanting to clean up when you win. When you win. It's so much better, man. With that said, Cowboys Nation, y'all can check me out later today, 3-ish Mafia. Me and Vach will be breaking down the game as well. I see my man Vach got time today. I was looking on Twitter. Vach got time today, so I'm gonna set my piece on this. I'm sitting back. I'm gonna let Vach do his thing today, but we'll have some fun. We'll break down this game, so make sure y'all come through. And then later tonight, Mauricio Rodriguez will be back on the channels on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, I believe, as well, for A to Z Sports Prime Time. Shout out to Mo. Dontrell always knows. Y'all crazy. And yeah, get with me later, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get this packed up so we can get back to the home stew. And I'm going to see y'all later, man. Press this button. Yeah, Slime, tell them. They do, Mr. Woods, they do. It's a what have you done for me lately, you know? The last thing on their mind is what's on their mind. And it's all good. We're going to get through this storm. We came out 3-1. That's all you can do. You gotta love it. We out here. Peace.
Bomb Squad!